Welcome to Jamie TV, thank you for tuning in. In my hand, I hold the Sonido Live Dock. This thing is tiny, but I've got these stupid tiny little girl-sized hands. I'd never make a concert pianist, although that is partly because I'm a bit shit on the piano. But to give you some perspective, some idea of just how small it is, this is my old iPhone 12, which I use as my main camera when I'm live streaming. So if I just do this, you can see just how small this thing is. Now, speaking of phones, although the Live Dock has multiple functions, the main focus of Sonido's advertising seems to be using it for live streaming with a mobile phone. And you can see how that would make so much sense with this thing attached to your phone. You know, you're out in the world, and it gives you multiple options for getting other audio instruments, headphones, microphone and whatnot into the stream. We'll talk more about that later. So why don't you just plug it into the phone, Jamie? Well, because this is USB-C, which is wise because that's future-proofing it, but this phone is a lightning port. And unfortunately, so is my newest mobile phone, the one I'm currently using. It's iPhone 14 Plus. But I will still be able to demo this for you by plugging it into my 2021 11-inch iPad M1 Pro. So when I was unboxing this, I took some video just to show you what you get with it. So we'll have a look at that footage now, and then we'll have a look at all the functions. The Live Dock comes very well packaged, which has been my experience with all 4 products I have received from Sonido. The Live Dock itself is extremely well protected, meaning it should be safe in transit no matter how much of a heavy-handed, uncaring cretin the delivery person is. Also included, tucked neatly into this cardboard sleeve, is a cable tie, a 3.5mm to 3.5mm audio cable, the Sonido Certificate of Authenticity, a 3.5mm to 1/4-inch jack adapter, and a very clear noddy-proof user manual which actually has text large enough for an earthling to read without a microscope. If I add an audio track here in AUM, you can see that the iPad has no audio device plugged into it. It is currently using the iPad speakers to output sound, and the only available hardware input is the iPad microphone. When I plug in the Live Dock, it takes over as the audio output device. I can plug my headphones in here so that I can hear any sound, but for the purposes of this video, I'll plug in a stereo mini jack that's going to my old iPad so that I can record for you what I would be hearing in the headphones. Just here, I'll plug in the iPad's charger cable. So now here you can see that even though the iPad's one and only port is occupied, I can still charge up the device. If I want to connect my guitar to the interface, slight issue, this thing is not going to take a guitar cable, which would be a mono 1/4-inch, and this input is a stereo 3.5mm. But if I plug the stereo 3.5mm jack in here and convert the other end with the 3.5mm to 1/4-inch stereo jack adapter and plug that into my guitar, I get guitar on one side of my headphones, but noise in the other ear. What I'm hearing in my ears at the moment is direct monitoring, coming from the Live Dock. It has nothing to do with the iPad. I can adjust my headphone volume with these up and down buttons on the side here and switch off that direct monitoring with the button here. In AUM, if I select hardware input and choose stereo input from the Sonido Live Dock, I of course still have the same problem, guitar on one side and noise on the other. The guitar is coming down the left side, so if I choose a mono right hand side input here, I would just get noise in both ears. But if I choose mono left, I have guitar in both ears. It is kind of noisy to use with guitar, although I found I could alleviate some of that noise by removing the charger cable. Perhaps this could be further improved by using a good quality mono 1/4-inch jack to mono mini jack cable, but I doubt it would make a huge difference. It's not something I own though, and I doubt that many things with strings players do. However, if you're looking for a cheap and cheerful way to practice, this could be the very thing. I've not experienced any discernible latency issues. I can launch an app on my iPad and play along. But because of the way that audio works on iOS, the volume controls on the Live Dock will now control the volume of both the app you're playing along to and the instrument that you have plugged into this port. I found I was able to find a nice balance though by adjusting the volume of my guitar in the software I was using. But here's a super cool feature. On my iPhone, I'll open up Bluetooth settings. If I press this center button, my phone will discover the Live Dock as a Bluetooth device. Press to connect, and now I can stream audio from my phone to play along to. However, in this scenario, the music from my phone is going through the guitar amp. So to hear it at its best, I need to take the guitar software out of the equation and switch this input back to stereo, making it not very usable to play along with. Okay, now I'm going to show you where the Live Dock really does come into its own, and that would be for a nice cheap and cheerful way to do some live streaming. In fact, I'm live streaming with it right now. Now, I've got it set up the way that I would use it if I was using it to live stream from here in Starbucks Studios. So I've got the Live Dock plugged into the side of the M1 iPad Pro. My headphones are plugged in over here. They're set to direct monitoring because I've found that when you're live streaming, if you don't have the direct monitoring, if I can say it, activated, you're not hearing anything coming back at you. I've got the charger cable plugged in here, so there's no need to worry about the iPad running out of battery and the stream failing, which is good. I've not got the loopback function activated because there's no need for it in this particular use case, because I've got a cable plugged in here which is coming from my mixing desk. In my mixing desk, I've got a number of different things plugged in, and so any of the audio going into the mixing desk I can get now into the stream. So for instance, I've got my microphone and my guitar plugged into an audio interface over there, which is coming into this old iPad. This channel here is my microphone, and here, this is my guitar. I could play some music, for instance, from this iPad and get that into the stream as well. And anything else that's plugged into the mixing desk. So for this use case, I think this is a really useful gadget. Okay, I'm live streaming once again on YouTube to show you another use case for the Sonido Live Dock. Now for this particular demo, it would be much more effective if I was walking through a field, if I was in the outside, you know, talking to cows or something. Well, you'll just have to imagine, because it's pissing it down with rain outside and there's no way I'm going outside. Now, I've got another camera set up. Let's just get into shot over here. So, hanging from this old Android phone I forgot I had, I've got the Sonido Live Dock hanging from the bottom, and plugged into here is the receiver for my not exceptional quality wireless headset. And I've got my headphones plugged in the other side. Now in the background I have got some music playing in Cubase. It's just a simple loop I set going. Now you'll not hear it, but I can hear it. But if I press loop back, you should now hear that in the stream. So this is a real nice, effective way of just having a very simple little device hanging from the bottom of your phone so that you can live stream nice and easy, cheap and cheerful, out in a field talking to cows. Okay, so here's the third and final, hopefully, stream that I wasn't planning on doing, but the reason I'm doing it is because I learned something from the first two that I did. In both of them, the audio was flawed. In the first one, it was fine, apart from every now and again you could hear a little audio glitch, and it's something electrical in here that the Live Dock was picking up. So I was able to eliminate that by just unplugging the charger cable from the Live Dock. As you can hear or can't hear, it's not happening now. Now in the second stream, obviously that the audio wasn't good. Unfortunately, the only microphone that I own that has a stereo mini jack is my headset microphone, and the 2.4 wirelessness of it really doesn't like the 2.4 internet router in here. It clashes, and yeah, and that sounded bad, I know. But the other reason why it sounded bad was because I also had the gain turned up too high on it. Now, while I was doing that stream, listening to the direct monitoring, I couldn't tell that. So the problem is that I was doing that stream with YouTube Mobile, as I am now, and YouTube Mobile streaming, it doesn't give you any kind of audio input monitor, and neither does the Live Dock. But I mean, that's one of the drawbacks of this device, but I suppose a device this size and this price, you're not going to get everything that you're going to get on a bigger, more expensive device. So my advice would be, if you're going to go with the Live Dock, then before you actually use it to do a stream, do a lot of experimenting, a lot of pissy panting around with it, and from there you should be fine. Although the Sonido Live Dock is very small, light, compact and inexpensive, it does feel very well put together. It feels very sturdy. Now, it seems to me that although it does have a number of use cases, where it really excels is perhaps a nice, cheap and cheerful way of getting into live streaming, and in that capacity I'm very happy to recommend it. Now, another way that I've been using it is when I get home from a gig at night, it's late, everyone in the house is asleep, and when I sit down to eat a massive dinner before I go to bed, I want to watch some Doctor Who or some other nerdy sci-fi bullshit. And I don't want to disturb everyone, so I watch on my iPad. This has given me a really good way to get my good quality headphones, which is a stereo mini jack, into my iPad, which is USB-C. The audio quality is really good, plenty of volume as well, which helps because I am a little deaf, which is perhaps caused by wearing headphones and having them too loud. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. If there's anything I've not answered about the Live Dock, any questions whatsoever, comment below the video and I promise I will get back to you. Until my next video, make lots of music, be good and be kind and look after the planet, and do try not to piss your pants about. I'll see you later.